I am delighted and happy to have with me, sitting beside on the set live, is my cousin, family member, Stephen Melnichuk. Stephen, welcome to Your Call.
It's good to be here.
Stephen is a pastor of Westedge Community Church in Mississauga. Now, he's got a great background in working with missions in Europe, was out in Western Canada for a while, so he's got a pretty good perspective when it comes to church and the faith and values of both adults and young people, as well as comparing in Canada, North America, to Europe, the ideals of church, community life, and people going to, not going to, people accepting, rejecting, people basically leaving church. But Steve, just before we get to the phones, and we'll engage and unpack a little more of what you do as the program goes on, but let me ask you this question. Why do you think today in Canada faith is no longer really important in adult lives or young people's lives?
Well, it's a great question. It's a good topic tonight. And, and my first thought right off the top is, well, it's a little disheartening because I'm a pastor of a local church right here in Toronto. And I think, well, I want people to be engaged in the message that we're delivering, and then I have to take some responsibility. Just for this topic tonight, I need to take some personal responsibility. The people that partner with me in the local church, we need to take responsibility to say, are we actually communicating the real message that we're trying to get out there? Because for the last 2,000 years, the message that Jesus put out, it was very, very engaging. It changed people's lives, and history has proven that. And so I have to take some responsibility myself and make sure that the message that I'm putting out there is that engaging message that is saying, listen, people, it's not about, as one of your pollers already mentioned, why would I want to go somewhere where I'm just going to be condemned and told how not good I am, when that's actually not even the message that Jesus ever spoke. It's not even the message that any of his disciples, and as we continue over these last centuries to proclamate that message, that's not the real message. So why are people leaving church? I think a lot of times it's because the church is not being effective in communicating the true message. It really gets boiled down to people's interpretation of what they believe that true message is. And I think, there's a lot of groups in North America, and I love one in particular called the Red Letter Christians, who they just said, you know what, let's just read those red letters in the New Testament. These are just the words that Jesus said. If they're real, let's apply them to life. And they've gotten actually a lot of controversy around them when they've actually just tried to live out the words of Jesus. And so we're in a really complex situation. I believe in the local church. That's why I'm part of it. Yeah, it's my job. It's my vocation. But I believe that the message is still relevant, and I want to be part of putting out a relevant message that's engaging people and really meeting them right where they are, in their settings, in their families, in their home lives, in their neighborhoods. How can the message of Jesus be relevant in their lives?
And we did a program on Red Letter Christians, Tony Campolo, and the struggle of that show was simply people putting themselves to the point of saying, if it says actually what I'm reading, then I got to make a commitment.
Yeah.
And if I'm not ready, I got to back off.
Yeah.
And that's really it's the heart of the gospel. But yet there's the other side where if I commit myself to what Christ requires of me, the churchianity is, the Spirit's going to help us. But the point is the outflow and the overflow of that is totally not only personally transforming, but then it's like, and I'm going to say it, the good old religion, helping, caring, loving people. And then being able to say to those who may be on the precipice edge of some of the contemporary issues that we may throw out tonight, that we deal with on a daily basis of, is it right, is it wrong? Where it's simply saying, here's what I believe, here's the reasons why I believe them. And at the end of the day, if it's what Christ requires, the news at the end is good.
Yeah.
It's not bad, because it eliminates all of the guilt and the pain and the shame, and on we go. So good intro, and folks, listen, leaving church,